Okay, so some people think I'm a bit crazy, but I'm having to drive 2 hours each way to pick up this absolutely iconic little 80s bike. It's not even an adult's bike, it's a kid's bike, but I'm sure some of you will recognise what it is.
Recently I found this old Raleigh catalogue from back in 1988, and it really got me thinking of my mate Neil and the times we spent playing our bikes for hours and hours near our home. And this gives me a bit of an idea, because I swear he used to have a street wolf. So this is my friend Neil now, the man behind RMC The Cave.
Hello cave dwellers, welcome into the cave. How much would you pay for a used Nintendo GameCube? Hello cave dwellers, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the cave. You can now come and visit the cave. You can book yourself a slot at rmcretro.com, click on the little visit the cave button, and you can book morning and afternoon sessions.
With over 140,000 subscribers, he's not only inspirational but successful. So I want to give him something for his museum, and why not a retro rally restoration. So first up was to try and find a bike, and again eBay just comes up trumps. For winning a bid at £42.69, I landed an amazingly good condition little Street Wolf. The only problem was it's in London, I'm in Dorset here in the UK, and I had to drive quite a long way to go and get it. Fingers crossed it was all good.
Okay, so I think I might have just picked up one of the best conditions. One of these little bikes out there. It does need a little bit of work, but I'm just coming back to my van now to put it in, and then we'll be off back to Dorset with it. As far as restoration, I'm just not sure how much I'm going to have to do, but there are a few things. The electronic sound box, which is on the front of these Street Wolf bikes, and kind of makes the whole experience for children. Well, that is in not the best shape. As far as I can make out, it's not working at the moment. It's missing its cable and its button for you to be able to sort of ride along and sort of press it with your thumb so that the sounds go off. And obviously that's going to be really important to get going. And also it's missing its sort of decal sticker off the top of the box, which is something we all love. It's not a mark on the original saddle. It's got the original Raleigh plastic wheels on it. It just looks like it's just come out, well, only a year or two old, and certainly not had a lot of use. So I'm going to be really looking forward to just giving this a real good once over, getting it back in good shape, and very quickly passing it on to where it's going to end up.
So starting off the build, we looked at the electrics. I was here just testing the different positions of the switch to make sure we still had all the different sounds before we could put it back together with the new cable, which you'll see here in place and soldered in.
So we're going to change this into the special coiled wire that leads from this unit to the handlebars with a button on, so you can control all this.
Soldering it was quite an easy job, but one of the main things I had to do is replace this sticker on the front. So I had to make that, print one out, laminate it, and stick it on with contact adhesive onto the space clearly there at the front, where you can attach it and still have the LEDs coming through to show when you press the button. Not only is there sounds, but there's the little lights as well. Believe me, it was amazing when we were little, and even my kids still really like playing with this. Just testing it without having the button in place, joining the wires together again just to give it one final check that it was fully operational. Moving on to the bike, it was a quick strip down. Very basic parts, wheels off because we need to change those tyres. Quick spray down, the frame really was in great condition, and the decals very luckily also almost perfect all over. I wasn't going to need to get them any better. Okay, so I did need to remove the crank to get at the bottom bracket area so that we can make sure that was fully serviceable. Just knocking out the cotter pins here. They were a bit tough, but then it's a bike from the 80s, it was bound to be. Interestingly, there's no bearings. This bottom bracket sort of axle setup in the middle was purely running on some bushes, some metal bushes, so we needed to make sure that that is actually really well greased up. It was really important next to look at the wheels and the bearings. The greased areas like this had just gone dry over time. The threads were all good, there was absolutely no problems, no real rust on it either, and this is sort of shows really how amazing it was with condition over time.
It's just dry.
As you can see, all the ball bearings in relatively good shape. We'll take all those out, obviously give them a good wash off in a sec with WD-40, as I will do all the areas for the where the bearings sit in the wheel. It's quite tough though because this grease had really dried on, so it took quite a bit of work in to get that out. Once it's clean though, you can see there's very minimal damage in there. Usually there's tons more than that. Plenty of WD. Okay, like I say, still pretty tough, but it cleaned up and these parts just look like new really once they've been cleaned up. It was amazing. So it's a very simple re-grease, and just pop the ball bearings back into where they sit. Nicely done like that, and clean. Axle back in. We'll just redo the cones onto the bearings, make sure they were just at the right tension, so the bearings felt free moving but there was no play in the axle at all. And then we just use a special cone spanner just to make sure that we had them exactly how we wanted them. Now, obviously the tyres are always going to be changed, but this gives you a good indication. Usually these old cheaper BMX tyres do crack over time, and they obviously were coming off, and I had sourced some ones that were, well, I suppose we could say much more in keeping with the original look of the bike. Off they came, and I reused the inner tubes, nothing really wrong with them. So again, eBay, just had to look these ones up. Fairly hard to come by. They were, I think, a little bit thicker than they should have been. They were a bit of a wider tyre choice, but I think due to COVID, when I originally got these tyres, that's all that was available. The wheels, again, parts, they look like new. Absolutely brilliant. Put the tyres on them, and it was really, already I could see the potential this little bike had. Now, it has to be said, my children watched me undertaking this restoration, and they got quite attached to this bike, but they did ask that they could make their own little film about this bike before it went off to sit in a museum for the rest of its days.
Thank you. Who's that? And then this wheel, it has a little bit of grime there, but it's all new. And then I have that, and when you press this, that lights up. And then this is all the paint job. The paint job is done by a super cool company, Straight Wolf. Well, it's time for me to go home.
So excitingly, I have a surprise in all this as well, because Neil has actually got something he's passing on to me to help restore with him as a project. So let's undertake this double reveal. So after about 1 million roundabouts, here we go. Where RMC is. Now it's where to park. I think this one, I'll see. So I've just been in to see Neil, and he's shown me what I'm here to collect actually, and you guys don't know what is there yet, but you'll find this a really bizarre coincidence, and I guarantee you this is a coincidence, because what I bought for him you know, but what he's got for me you don't, and it's quite similar. So let's get this out. Right then, Neil, come and check it out, and you'll now understand why.
Oh, look at that bad boy! The street wolf. No way.
And if you can't remember,
Who was it had one of these?
It was definitely. I thought it was you, but it's obviously yeah. I thought I'm sure Neil had one.
on the street. Oh yes.
Believe me, there is not many. There is not many that have that.
No way.
So Neil was really happy with that. But what have we got? Well, I'm really excited to say it's a Raleigh Vector. I've always wanted to have a go on one of these and get my hands on it and work on one, and this one does need some work. It will be going back on display at the cave, and me and Neil will be working together to get this bike shipshape and maybe modified in some really cool way. So please keep your eye out for the progress. Okay, so the RMC project Vector Raleigh is in the van. You guys will get to see more about that as it happens. I'm keeping in contact with Neil, and Neil's going to be putting it on his channel as well, which is RMC Cave. So check that out on YouTube as well, and hopefully you'll get to see our little street wolf on some of his videos. Anyway, thanks for now. Take care. Happy cycling. Bye bye.
Bye, dirty mug things. I have to go to my fancy palace.